Hey everybody, it's Zach from Myshire Farm. Um, we are doing our weekly Q&A. If you give me just a second here, I'm trying to sync up with everything here. There we go. Sweet. I think. Yep, I'm here. All right. I'll be reading off your questions. Justin, hello. Um, so I'll be waiting for some people to join. I know some people are going to be late. I know some people are going to watch it afterwards. So if you have questions, today we're going to be talking about selling, profiting, marketing, and other stuff like that to make some money off of your quail. If you have specific questions, go ahead and start asking. I am going to say some things that I came up with or that I thought about and that I'd like to share, and then I will get to your questions. So there has been some talks as far as negativity or didn't think about this part. Okay, so here it is. I don't feel like I am the most qualified person to help you, right? However, I am willing and I am accessible. So until someone else comes along and is qualified, then I'm here. But if you do not like uh, what I have to say, then that's okay too. So there's that. So the first thing that I wanted to mention is Zig Ziglar quoted a long time ago, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. And if you're watching this because you're wanting to start your own business or make your own money and things like that, that's one of the most motivational, powerful things that you should probably ever hear. Because the first step is always the hardest and it's always the easiest. It's easiest because you're motivated, you're excited. I know. I will do better, I promise. Um, if you turn your phone sideways, it works. Unless you're not. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I get it. Um, sorry. The first step is always the easiest because you're excited, you're motivated, you're energetic, and things like that. But it's always the hardest also because of the fear of the unknown. You know, you don't know if it's going to work. You don't, I mean, it's an investment, right? So to me, starting your own business, starting your own quail business is just as much of an investment as real estate or stock market or your 401k. It's for a better future. It's something that you want to do down the road, right? Um, so just remember, you don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. And I really like that saying. So that's number one. Number two is um, I've talked to a couple different people this week. One of them that I've talked to is J&K Quail Farm in Anacoco, Louisiana, I believe is how you say it. But it's J&K Quail Farm. You can find them on Facebook. They're starting to do a lot of cool stuff. I think they're even doing a giveaway right now of eggs. And they sell day olds. They do farm pickups. They're doing a lot of stuff there. But I've talked to a couple other people also, and you need to make sure that you have a plan, because a goal without a plan is just a wish, and you're not going to get very far. Dave Ramsey used the analogy of, if you and your wife are in the car and you're driving and you're going 90 miles an hour, and then your wife looks over and says, we're going the wrong way, he'll say, yeah, but we're getting there really fast, right? So if you don't have a plan, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get where you want to be without a plan. So if it's not written down, if you don't know what you want out of it, if it's not specific, I highly encourage you to really think about that. So The last thing, and again, if you guys have specific questions as far as sales, profit, expenses, marketing, anything like that, feel free to ask and I will get to the questions as soon as I'm done. But the next thing is, and I think this is very important, and to me, this is more important for your business than capital or money or anything else. So a continuous action creates a habit, right? Everyone's heard 21 days of doing the same thing creates a habit, right? So a continuous action creates a habit. A habit creates a characteristic, and characteristics breed success. Healthy characteristics breed success. So you need to make sure that your number one focus is morals and of value in your business, because people will see it. People will see through it if you're not for real. You know, every business thrives on repeat business, you know. So just keep that in mind. But we will get to good evening. I don't know how to take that. So we're gonna get into the first thing. And again, go ahead and ask your questions. When, you know, as soon as I'm done with this, then I'll answer any questions you got. Again, we're talking numbers or expenses, how much a quail, you know, eats, or, you know, what to expect the cost to be and what price range, or how do I market, or what's the best avenue for sales. You know, what can I expect, you know, things like that. And some will be individual where I won't be able to answer, and that's kind of hard doing the Q&A because I need your specific information, but I will do my very best. But number one, out there, what would you say the number one goal is for any business? It's profit, right? Right? So society and the news and all this stuff, you read about businesses making profit, and it's like a negative. It's like a four-letter word, you know? It's like it's derogatory to say a business is making profit. But if I wasn't making a profit, I wouldn't be here trying to help you, right? If I wasn't making a profit, then I wouldn't be spending hours a day answering other people's questions, right? Because I'd have to go find something else to do. So Myshire Farm's number one goal, and will always be and always has been, to make a profit. But that is not our number one priority. See, the reason we started this, and we didn't think that it would be this way, and we've just been blessed and worked hard for it, and you know, but the whole reason why we started this was because we wanted to educate, we wanted to encourage, we wanted to support and help and supply a quality of living, a self-sufficient way of living. Because I think a lot of us, society as a whole, has gotten away from being self-sufficient. And so that's what I'm very energetic about. That's what I'm very enthused about and passionate about. Because I do believe that we've gotten away from this, and I don't think that's right. I think we got to get back to being more self-reliant on ourselves. But our number one goal is profit, always. Our number one priority, by educating and helping and supplying, that gets us to our goal. Does that make sense? But profit always needs to be on the top of your mind. If you have a sales background, one thing that has taken me a long time to figure out is it's better not to look at sales. Look at profit, because you can sell a lot, but once you take the foamer expense out, once you take the shipping expense out, once you take your time out, once you take this out, once you take that out, you better make sure you're making a profit. So that's that. I do have a couple more things to say, which I was going to say at the end, but it's three different examples or ways to market your product. that hopefully will help you along. But let's see if we got any questions. Hello, everybody. Have you ever had the post office lose your shipment or get it there very late? How do you handle that? Yes, a lot. It happens a lot. We probably reship 3 times a month on average, I would say, which compared to how much we ship out is not a lot. But if you think about it, let's just say they order 120 eggs, right? Well, that's a $60 value. Plus I'm reshipping for free. We'll say the average cost is 22 bucks. So that 60 plus the 22 is $82 plus my extra time. I mean, you know, I'm losing $90 a pop every time I have to reship. So most people, well, I don't know what to say about that. As far as I know, and again, these are just my understandings, what I know. This is my world, right? As far as I know, I'm the only one that guarantees a 50% hatch rate. I don't guarantee that they'll arrive. I don't guarantee, you know, that we'll ship them out in a certain time. I guarantee a hatch rate, a specific number. I do that for a couple different reasons. And we do lose money. We do lose money on it. But I just feel like that's what I want to do. But there are a lot of people that put on their websites, that put on their posts on Facebook, their marketing stuff. We cannot guarantee what the post office does, and there's nothing wrong with that. I guess it just depends on what you can do. I can tell you, you're gonna spend the money one way or the other. You're gonna spend it on marketing, you're gonna spend it on advertising, you're gonna spend it on reships, whatever the case may be. When I started, I did not guarantee a 50% hatch rate. All we guaranteed is that they would arrive. If they did not arrive, then we would reship. The next year, I guaranteed that they would arrive and that you would get a good hatch rate. And if you didn't, you could pay for shipping and I would reship you the eggs. And as the years has gone by, I just feel like it's just a customer service for me because you guys have given so much back for us. So that's why I do that. But there's nothing wrong for not guaranteeing it. It is out of your control. I completely understand that. So you just have to determine what you want to do. But, you know, if you're just starting out, then I don't think that maybe you should do that because you do lose hand over fist sometimes. What are the most profitable birds that you would recommend for a small scale breeder? Jumbo wilds, by far. They will always be, or should always be. As far as I know, there's only one person that sells more colors than they do jumbo wilds. And I don't even know if they carry jumbo wilds. So, all right, I was trying. Hold on. So I gotta turn you guys. So, with that being said, jumbo wilds are absolutely critical for your success, for sure. There we go. Hold, please. Sorry, guys. I really thought I had it figured out this time, and I was super excited, and then it didn't work out. So that's a bummer. All right, so I guess I can just sit down here. I flipped the camera. I was thinking of doing something else next time, but so as far as marketing goes, so I see a lot of people, for example, J&K Quail Farm in Anacoco, Louisiana. They just started their Facebook business page, right? And it looks really good. They're doing a giveaway. It seems like they're very excited. They're very enthusiastic, and they're doing a great job. They've got great colors. Very impressed with them. Now, if I had to give one piece of advice, it would be, and very few people do this. In fact, I think I've only seen it once, ever, on Facebook. But that is benefit selling. You know, you need to know what your market is, and you can do that by a couple different ways. And I'm going to give you examples on how I did it when I started out. But you need to know your market. You need to know why they want to buy, and go from there. Is it difficult to have a quail farm? When you get large scale, it's time consuming. You need to make sure you enjoy it. Yeah, once you hit that 3,000 quail mark, it's I mean, you got to sell, 1,200 eggs a day, and you've got to do this, and you got to feed, and you got to water, and then you got to feed again, and then you've got to, hatch out, and then you got to, organize orders, and I've got live auctions, and I've got eBay, and I've got this, and I've got that. So it is, I actually averaged it out the other day, and so I average 11 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I've done that for over a year, just here. Before that, I was working 20 hours a week on the farm and 50 hours a week at my job. So it's been 5 years that I've been working, 70, 80, 90 hours a week. So, I mean, it's a lot of work, but I enjoy it. How many line breedings before you have to switch bloodlines? That is a personal call. I breed very specifically. And what I mean by that is, how would I? Okay, so I'll use my SSCs because I'm in the middle of changing them out for the year. So my SSC breeders, I've got 3 colony cages, right? I've got 1, 2, and 3. So what I'll do is I'll take cage 1 and cage 2. I'll put them in the incubator. I'll hand pick the ones that I want to keep, right? And then I'll put them in cage 3. And then I'll take cage 2 and cage 3, and then I will hand pick the ones that I want to keep and put them in cage 1, and so on and so forth. So there is some line breeding, there is some cross breeding, there is some inbreeding, but it's very minimal on all 3. Therefore, I can go a very long time. I can tell you that Texas A&Ms, right? Everyone's heard of Texas A&Ms. For a university to have a line, right? A line like Texas A&Ms, you need to have 100 generations. So when people worry about inbreeding, especially if you're not going to be having thousands and thousands of breeders, I wouldn't even stress about it at all for 30 years. Like, I wouldn't even worry about it. When you get 3,000 quail and, you're getting fairly large and you're shipping out as much as you are and people are relying on you for good quality, then, I take it a lot more seriously. And that's why I have a very strategic, very, very strict breeding program, so that we don't have that problem. What efficiencies have you figured out along the way? You need to find out what works for you. I cannot stress enough, time management is either going to make you or break you. You could spend 5 hours a day in the quail barn with 100 quail, or you could spend 30 minutes in the quail barn with 100 or with 500 quail. So time management is very important. You need to allocate your time. Number one, you need to make sure you have good quality product, right? Well, if you've got that and you've got a good plan that you're following as far as a breeding program goes, you need to make sure that they're happy and healthy at all times. They have plenty of light, they have plenty of food, they have plenty of water, so on and so forth. And then get out of there, right? Because a lot of your time, especially when you're starting out, needs to be with customers. Whether you're going to local businesses, whether you're online and studying what people are saying, whether you're looking at the common questions that people are asking, or whatever the case may be. I do see your question, and I will get that in just a second. I am going to forget what I was about to say as far as marketing goes, and I felt like it was important. But I was talking about benefit selling, right? So here's the deal. When I started, I'm very self-conscious. I feel like you guys can look up my nose, so I'm switching the camera. When I started out, I did a ton of giveaways. You know, I gave away the farm. I mean, we lost a substantial amount of money the first year. I mean, it was insane. And everybody was like, so you can't call yourself a salesperson if you just give it away. And I'm like, just hold on. I'm doing something here. And I had a plan. I had a plan the whole time. But the first year went by, and man, those bottom line numbers at the end of the year, you looked ugly. And I switched, and then I used that to my advantage, and worked out perfectly. But what I did was I did a ton of giveaways for a couple different reasons. When we started out, I frankly just said, hey, we're brand new. I'd love to ship somebody some eggs. All you have to do is pay for shipping, and then just give me feedback. That's all you got to do. And plenty of people were interested in that, right? And then I got reviews on my Facebook page. I got reviews on my website. I got reviews on Google. I got reviews on this. And so then other people wanted to buy, right? I started our Myshire Facebook page, our business page, and I did giveaways. Hey, have a friend join and you'll be entered into the drawing. So then my subscribers would go up. That's super important, because the more people you see, the more people you talk to, the more people know your name, the more business you're going to get. It's just common arithmetic, right? And then I also, I started a Facebook group, Newbie Quail Lovers. The reason I did that is because when I started, Jenna was already way past me in knowledge, so I had to catch up quick. So I was doing a lot of research online, a lot of research on Facebook. I'm trying to find out what people are asking and so on and so forth. And a lot of people were not very nice to the new people, and I really didn't like it. And I felt very uncomfortable asking newbie questions. So I thought, well, what about if we just have a newbie group and we just support each other? And then eventually, some of us will get smart, and some of us will get knowledge, and some of us will gain experience, and then, we'll be like their mentors. It'll be cool. And it's just taken off, and it's amazing. And so I did stuff on there. I used to do surveys like, hey, what's your favorite color? And then I would name all of our colors that we had. And then I would be like, okay, well, most people are interested in this, and most people love this color more than this color. So then I knew what I needed to have enough of to be able to do the supply and demand. So again, I had a plan this entire time. I can't stress that enough. So that's benefit selling. Know what your market is, come up with ways on how to find that out. Like, for example, when I did my surveys, they were fun. People enjoyed them. We did give eggs away, but I got so much insider knowledge on what people wanted that it was worth the 30 eggs or the 60 eggs or whatever. It was worth paying shipping to get that knowledge so that I could grow, right? I know I've got some questions. Another thing that I want to say is, and I've mentioned it before, you need to treat your business, if you're starting out, as an investment. It is investment. That means you have to put your time, your effort, your energy, your resources, and your money into it. You cannot slack on that. If you slack on it, it will fail. And I'm not trying to be negative. I'm not. I'm just trying to let you know. I have tried to cut corners in certain ways that I didn't think would be a big deal, and it has backfired on me dramatically. So we go the long way around all the time because it is not worth taking another chance. Do you charge differently for dressing out the quail various ways? Skinned and split up backbone, skinned and whole, or do you process? We only process one way. When we were starting out, we were taking special requests. But now that we have our corporate accounts, we don't have to worry about it because it was a pain. But I'm a big believer that you got to do the hard stuff at the beginning to get to the easy stuff later on. So now we do not do it, but we did do that years ago when we started out. And, we'd collect orders for 2 months and then butcher. And then we'd have, oh, well, we need 10 that are whole and 10 that are skinned and 10 that are, plucked and 10 that are, cut in half and 10 that are, oh, it was bad. It was very bad. But yeah, we did do that. Did we charge differently? Yes, we charged $1 extra. Yes, $1 extra a bird is what we did. So we sold our whole processed quail for $4 each in a pack of 6. So it was $24 for a pack. And then if they wanted a specialty, then it was $5 a quail in a 6-pack. So it'd be $30. So we did do that, yes. Is it a profitable business? Yes. You're not going to get rich quick doing this, by far. You're definitely not going to get rich ever. I mean, it takes a lot of eggs at 50 cents an egg to get to $1 million. You know what I mean? I mean, it is not a get rich, but I don't care about getting rich, I pay the bills, I support my family, I do something that I enjoy, I do something that I'm passionate about. I do have a boss that I hate. It's me. I'm a horrible boss. Jenna always makes fun of me. She's like, you have had some really hard bosses in the past, because I was always middle management, and so they were very demanding on me to get results. She's like, but you were the worst boss you've ever had. And I'm like, yes, because I am very, very demanding on myself. Very. I refuse to take days off. If we've got plans, like my kids did a Taekwondo black belt a week ago Saturday, and it's like a 5-hour process, and it's very long, and I knew I was going to be gone, so I got up super early and got a lot of stuff done, and by the time they woke up, I was pretty much done with the minimum, and then we got back, and then I worked for another 5 hours. So I'm very, very strict on myself. But yes, it is profitable if you market correctly. You need to make sure you know what your expenses are, and then you need to price accordingly. And again, like I said at the very beginning, and I don't see a lot more questions. So if you guys do have questions specific, what's the best form of marketing, or, how do you come up with a price, or anything, I don't care. If you do have questions, then let me know. But if not, then I'll just finish what I have to say and then we'll get off. But yes, it is profitable. I do pay my bills. I can tell you that I do make less money now than what I did when I was working. But I have a lot less expenses because I work from home. We're all together. There's no out to eat. We're all eating meals together. And that kind of goes into my next step. So I listen to a lot of stuff. I put my headphones in every morning, work in the quail barn all day, and I listen to all kinds of stuff. I listen to how to invest in the stock market. I listen to 401k. I listen to how to lead by example. I listen to how to make money, in sales, how, selling techniques. I mean, I don't think you understand. I listen to at least 6 hours a day of other people, just to get ideas, to find people that I like, to follow them, and things like that. But with that being said, you need to decide what success means to you. because I had to do that before I quit my job. You need to realize we've been doing this for a long time, and I just quit my job last June. It took a long time because I needed to decide to me what success was. Was success making a lot of money? Because at the time, I was making more money than I've ever had before. Or did I want to do something that I wanted to do? Did I want to work a job, or did I wanted to live, you know? And me working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week doesn't feel like work because I got my family here. I eat meals with them, work together all the time. To me, that's success, because before I was a workaholic. I'd work 60, 70 hours a week. I would never be home on weekends, never be home on the holidays. And it was just about money. And one day I woke up and said, you know, it's not all about the money, is it? So make sure you know what success is, because there will be hard times. And I'm not trying to be negative, but I'm positive that there will be hard times. What is the best form of marketing? Interaction, period. It's kind of cliche. Unfortunately, not a lot of people talk about it nowadays. They all talk about, you know, oh, well, you want to get on YouTube and you want to make money. Just so you're clear, every view is like 2 cents on YouTube. So I don't make money on YouTube. I mean, minimum money on YouTube. You know, they talk about how to make $100,000 on Facebook, or how to do this and listen. There is no better form of marketing. There is no better form of advertising than feedback from your customers, period. If you cannot take of the few customers that you have at the beginning, you will not get off the ground. Plain and simple. You have to take care of your people. Do you sell eggs to restaurants? We do. We have, I don't know, 11, I think. That's Jenna's department. But I think we have 11 corporate accounts. Cincinnati, Beaver Creek, Centerville. I think we have 11 accounts. Yes. And to be honest, to get this big, to have 3, you better get some corporate accounts. So, hey, from the UK, how are you? Good evening from the UK again. Hope you're well. Is it worth taking the time to develop a strain of color that we don't have and offer over here to develop my own market for them? Yeah. Yes. Somebody really wants to talk to me. I've had to delete or decline a phone call 4 times in a row. It's a good question. I would recommend that you look at where you want to go, what your goal is, what your plan of attack to get there is, and decide where you need to fit that in. So for example, the first couple of years that we were doing this, we were not trying to develop a color or develop a new color. So like when I came out with our new colors this year or last year or whatever, at the beginning, we weren't trying to do that. We were trying to gain a customer base. We were trying to be knowledgeable. We were trying to become experts. We were trying to do stuff like that. Once we had a decent customer base, I had the liberty to spend some time and take some time and some energy and some resources and some money and develop colors. So it just depends on where you're at, you know, what your goal is, and where that can fit into your goal. I hope that answers your question, Scott. What is your approach to market to restaurants? I will go back to the statement that I said right at the very beginning. You do not have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. It is repetition, and not giving up. I think I probably talked to, I would bet I probably visited and gave away eggs to 100 different businesses when we started. Didn't get one. Now, I did learn in that 100 people, 100 businesses that I talked to, what to say, what not to say, what they were interested in, what they weren't interested in. So I did get better at selling, but I didn't get one. And then one day we had a boatload of extra eggs a long time ago. We had increased, and then I had to go to work, and I was working like 80 hours a week, so I didn't sell online. And so we had just a ton of eggs. So Jenna decided to post on Marketplace eating eggs. And then out of nowhere, one of those businesses called and said, I completely forgot. I just saw it. Yeah, let's do this. And so that's where our corporate account started. And then other people heard that we had a corporate account and they wanted to get involved. And then I mean, it took years to do this. And it was, I mean, I spent, I don't know how much money driving and eggs and energy, and just, I was defeated on the business account side. And then it just happened overnight, it seemed like. I mean, it was crazy. So you got to get out there. You don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. You have to allocate some time and say, if I've got to talk to 200 businesses to get one account, that one account, I could sell them 1,000 eggs a week, you know? And then I could grow my business by double or triple or quadruple, and then I can sell online, I can sell to farmers markets, I can sell to businesses, and I'm on my way. So you got to have that attitude, and you've got to just be persistent. What permit, etc., do you need to sell quail meat? We do not sell quail meat to restaurants. In the state of Ohio, you have to be USDA, and that is a joke beyond belief in Ohio. So we actually looked into it again when we were building our new barn, like so. And we said, you know, what do we need? Well, you need a separate office for USDA inspector. We said, oh, we could do something like that. We can make a little office. That's not a big deal. And we said, okay, well then what else? Well, you have to pay a USDA inspector to come out while you're processing to sit in the office. And we said, okay, how much is that? They said it's $175 an hour. We were like, for someone to watch us butcher? And they're like, yeah. And we were like, we would not, there's no way. There's no way we would make any money. So we sell to individuals. We do have kind of like a, you ever heard of a herd share? You know, where like you own a portion of the milk, or you own the portion of the cow, and then you pick up the milk every week. That's a herd share, so they don't have to go through the USDA. We do something like that with our meat. But every state is different. You could definitely look into that. Now, I can say before, wow, I've got a ton of questions now. I can say before I go further, I did do a lot of research. I used to research other quail farmers, quail breeders around me, or on Facebook or websites, and I used to see what they were doing and kind of steal what I liked about them and made it my own and things like that. I haven't done that in a long time because I just haven't had the time. But I do need to allocate some. I do need to do that. But I did research J&K Quail Farm in Anacoco, Louisiana, and I think they are set up to do some really cool, exciting things coming up. And the reason I said this is because Sadie Girl Farm, I looked up your website, I believe, and I was super impressed. It is very professional. I really like what you're doing. I was just really impressed. So those were the two farms that I was really impressed on. As far as I understand, J&K Quail Farm in Anacoco, Louisiana is just doing quail. Sadie, I believe you're doing different types of chickens also. But the way you got it set up, your pictures, I think I really like it. Really impressed. So, are there a lot of government regulations for breeding, killing, and selling egg and quail in the United States? No. Meat, yes, we've already discussed. I won't go back into that because, well, it's exhausting. But the eggs, not so much. No. You need to be MPIP, which, again, the hardest part is to start. So just start. Just fill out the paperwork. Look up MPIP. on the website, Natural Poultry Improvement Plan.com. Don't remember? Google it. And it'll tell you exactly what you need to do for your state to get certified. That will allow you to ship throughout the US. If you just want to ship in your state, you don't need to be MPIP. You don't need anything. And then to sell to local businesses, farmers market and things like that, you just need business insurance and you need a small egg producer's license, which is very easy to get by. So no, not many regulations for Coturnix. Now, Bob Whites we used to carry, and they are ridiculous on permits and inspections, and I am not willing to do that. Plus, I don't feel like Bob Whites are more self-sustaining way of life, where I feel like Coturnix are, and so that's what I'm passionate about. Do you make more selling hatching eggs or doing local sales? That's a great question, and the answer is yes, no, yes, no, yo. I really try to have a portion of everything, because here's my thought. I have a quail and supply auction group, right? We've had a great time this weekend. I've done a ton of auctions, a ton of new customers. Everybody's having a great time. People were getting some amazing deals. Let's just say I go full force on the business side of it, right? So I stop the quail group, or the auction group. Well, if I stop the auction group, then there's really no reason for me to get online anymore because I'm selling all my eggs to the business. So I don't need the Newbie Quail Lovers Facebook group, and I don't need to be on Myshire Farm, and I really don't need to help anybody because I'm just selling all my eggs to them. So I'm not shipping out anymore. What happens if the business decides not to renew my contract? If I don't keep up with the quail group and the auction group and the Newbie Quail Lovers group and the Myshire Farm, and if I don't have interaction with you guys regularly, well, when I get back into it, it's going to be like I'm brand new and I have to start all over. So that's the way I look at it. So I really try to have a portion of everything. I set aside a certain amount for local pickups. I set aside for our corporate accounts. I set aside for hatching eggs. I can tell you that a larger piece of the pie is online. Not because we have to, because I choose to. So I hope that answered your question. Sorry. Hello. In case the quail hen's getting infection like bumblefoot that able to eat the eggs, you can still eat the eggs or not? Yeah. Bumblefoot is not going to affect the eggs at all, and it won't affect the meat. I mean, you're not going to eat the feed anyway, or I guess some people do. I don't know. I think they use it in broth, maybe. We don't. Yeah, you can. If we're butchering, the ones with bumblefoot or anything like that go to the side, and we still butcher them, but we consume them. We don't sell them, just in case. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's not a problem at all. Good question. Hi, between Faro and A&M, which one do you like better? Faro, by a lot. Number one, you can't convince me. My mind is made up. You can't convince me that Jumbo Wilds, or I'm sorry, you can't convince me that Texas A&Ms are bigger than Jumbo Wilds. Texas A&Ms will always be smaller than Jumbo Wilds. Not that they're not big, they're just always going to be smaller. In my mind, this is me, just me thinking, right? Not only that, but if you have Texas A&Ms, you have to wait 8, 9, 10 weeks sometimes to find out if they're male or female. Whereas in Jumbo Faros, you're waiting 3 weeks before you can start doing that. So you don't have to keep them all, or you can separate them early, or whatever the case may be. So yes, I like the Jumbo Faros a billion times more than the whites. How do you ask for feedback, reviews, testimonials from clients? Starting out, Well, I can tell you this. Now, I'm just accessible. Now, I care. I show that I care, and that I ask them, hey, just let me know, you know? And people want to give you feedback. If people like you, if people trust you, if people believe in what you're selling, they're gonna want to communicate with you. 9 times out of 10, right? And if you are available to them, if you're accessible to them, then they're gonna like you and want to talk to you even more. So that's what I do now. When I started to get their feedback, reviews, I used to do marketing strategies. For example, there was a month time that anyone that purchased, if they would review us at the end of the hatch, I gave them a 10% off coupon for their next purchase. I loved that idea because number one, I get their feedback. Number two, I know that I'm going to get repeat business. So it was a win-win for me. So I did that. I thought that was a clever idea. Not that I'm patting myself on the back or anything. You know, usually I followed up. Nowadays I can't, and I feel horrible about it. But used to, every time I shipped out, I would personally take a picture of it on my phone, and I would text them their tracking number. And then I would say, please let me know when they arrive. I used to do that. I did that for years. And then we started shipping out 25, 35, 45 boxes a day. And I can't do it anymore. I want to be accessible. I am always here, but I can't take that time anymore. So hopefully that was a couple ideas for you. With how many quails should I start? That's a very good question. Well, I can't tell you that, but I can tell you what my thought process would be behind it. So my thought process would be, well, I want to consume them myself too, right? So I need some for me, and then I want to sell the rest to get started. So then if I don't sell the rest, I can just give them to family and friends, and it's not that big of a deal, right? So, well, let's say I want to have, you know, 5 eggs a day just for me. Well, then why don't I double that? And then if I have extras, I'll just give them out. And then there's no reason why you can't, there's no reason why you have to start big, right? So, you know, you buy 120 eggs, you get 60 to hatch, you get 30 hens, you're getting 30 hens a day. Let's say you consume 5 of them yourself. Let's say 5 of them are not good eggs, you know, they were cracked or, you know, too dirty or whatever the case may be. You know, now you got 20 eggs left, sell them. If you can't sell them, you know, do giveaways to start your business, and so on and so forth. And 20 eggs a day is a good goal in my mind, but I don't know where you're at. I don't know what your plan is. I don't know what your goal is. So that would be my mindset behind that. And that's pretty much all I can say. What resources do you use to learn about quail genetics so you can talk intelligently to customers, colors, genes, etc.? I have talked to a lot of people that are smarter than me. That's pretty much it. Trial and error, a lot of trial, a lot of error, a lot of mistakes, a lot of, oh, I didn't even know, a lot of surprises, a lot of, I didn't know that happened, and a lot of people. I've talked to a lot of people that are much smarter than me. We came up with the sex-linked idea by a guy in, a breeder in Egypt. Jenna was talking to him, and he was trying to figure out how we did a certain color. And he said, yeah, all I have is sex link. And she said, all you have is what? And he goes, yeah, I have sex link. They hatch out male and female on day 1, you know. And she said, you want to share? And he goes, do you want to share how you got that color? And she was like, yes, I do. So that's how that came to be. So yeah. There is a quail genetics group on Facebook that's pretty good. Martin Yardley is a genius. He's in the UK. He's very intelligent, much smarter than I am with all that stuff. Um, I tend to dumb it down. I like dumbing it down because it makes better sense to me. You know, when you talk about homozygous and EB gene and this and that, I can follow along with you, but I would much rather say, you know, if you do this and this, you get that. So I dumb it down significantly. Um, I'm sorry we're tormenting you. I apologize. All right, so if there's no other questions, I do have 2 other tips for you that hopefully will help you a little bit, and then we'll end it unless there's other questions. So I was talking about some tips on how to sell. I've kind of already discussed this, so I won't go into detail with it, but don't put all your eggs in one basket, meaning don't just say you're going to sell on Facebook and that's all your focus. Because what if Facebook goes down? What if they say you can't sell anymore? What if you get banned for 30 days? Whatever the case may be, right? So you need to have multiple outlets. Same with business accounts, like I used the example earlier. What about if I don't get my contract renewed? You know, what if I sell to Joe Blow down the street and then he takes my account, right? Because he's underselling me. Well, I need those other avenues to sell. So, and then we've talked about it a lot, I guess, so I guess I won't go into it too much, but start a customer base. You know, be honest about it. You know, if you're just starting out, then post on there, on Facebook, on YouTube, on MeWe, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Pinterest, on wherever you're selling, and say, hey, you know, we have had quail for a while. We really love quail. We love quail because, which goes back to the benefit selling. Sell them on buying it. Don't just tell them to buy it. Don't offer it to them. Sell it to them. Okay. So, hey, you know, we love our quail. You know, we became so much self-sufficient. It's a great family activity. My little kids really enjoy it, whatever the case may be, right? And then say, so the first 5 customers that comment on this, I will send you free eggs. As long as you give me feedback. You just have to pay shipping, or you don't have to pay shipping. I don't care what you do. You don't have to use that. Because, I mean, that's kind of mine, but no, you can use it. I'm just joking. But that's what I did. And then I got feedback, we got customer views, and then things started taking off. So, you know, benefit selling, do trial runs, be honest on where you're at. Hey, you know, I'm still new. Any feedback would be great. People love to help you out, for the most part. And sometimes you'll get that egghead that, you know, whatever. But for the most part, people want to help you out. And again, I can't stress enough. John Maxwell said, "Hope in the future is power in the present." And so you need to treat this business, this profit, this sales, the marketing, the advertising, the time, the effort, the money, the energy. You need to treat all of that like it is an investment, like you are spending your money on the stock market or real estate or your 401k or whatever the case may be. Because there's power in that. You got to have hope in that. And if you do believe you can do this, then you need to do it on purpose, and have a plan of attack to get there. So that I will get off my high horse now. Hello, if my hatching eggs are having their guts came out and don't dry up when hatching, what could be the cause? That is an incubator issue. 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, the other times is a genetic issue, but very rarely is a genetic issue. Very rarely, and I doubt that it would be. So I don't think it would be that. It could be a disease. Most likely it's an incubator issue. Most likely. How long are you in the business? We have been on the farm for 7 or 8 years. We've been selling nationally for 4. Don't remember. 4 maybe. but I kind of feel, I choose to be positive, so I feel that Jenna and I have spent our entire adult lives getting ready for this. You know, I've been in the sales um, circuit for years. I was general manager of different places for years. So I knew how to run things. I knew how to do the day-to-day operations. I knew that you needed to be an expert if you were going to do it. I knew the sales background. You know, Jenna, you know, she loves to learn about stuff. She's very knowledgeable about that stuff. So I feel like everything we've done in our adult life has led up to this. When it comes to pricing, have you experienced the dilemma of changing your prices and figuring out ways to keep your customer base? That is an amazing question. I am actually dealing with that right now. Um, so I decided that I am not smart, and so we contacted a business accountant to help me get that done. And I am in the middle of figuring out if I have to pay income or uh, taxes on the stuff that I sell. If I do, either I have to take a huge profit loss or I'm going to have to increase it by whatever the tax is. Um, I have not heard back. I If I do have to do that, it won't be until the beginning of the year. I don't want to change prices in the middle of the year. It'll be at the beginning of the year in a big long post with the new price list. Um, you know, but um, our jumbo wilds I'm very proud of. And again, I'm giving you this information because I'm trying to help you, and I'm not trying to give you all the answers, but I'm trying to get you to think about things that we've went through, that's the reason why. Um, so our jumbo wilds are something that we're very proud of. We're very happy with the consistency. We're very happy with the egg size. We're very happy with the weight, um, the consistency of the layers. We're very happy with all that stuff. Now, with that being said, I sell them for 50 cents, whereas I sell pearls, um, you know, our number one color, at $1 an egg. So it was brought to my attention that maybe we should increase the jumbo price, because we are very happy with them and it's our number one seller. And you know what? We probably wouldn't lose any business if I jacked it up to 60 cents. But I feel that if I do that, it's not because I have to, it's because I can. And so then I feel like it's greedy. So I just didn't do it. And I got some slack for it, but that's just how I feel. Now, that's a completely different story if you have to raise the price. If your feed bill, you know, goes up in price, if you have to pay taxes, like I might have to, if you know, whatever the case may be. If your expenses go up, you don't have a choice. You have to raise your price. How you do that, you know, yes, I think that it would be easy to raise your price in a reasonable amount and keep your customer base as long as you do it in the right way. You know, whether it's a mass email saying, hey, this is going on, so to better benefit the quail, I am buying a higher protein and a higher calcium feed, and because of that, the feed bill has went up, and because of that, I've had to increase each egg by 10 cents to pay for the expense. But in that 10 cents, you're getting a much better quality quail because my feed is so much better, or whatever the case may be. I just made a whole scenario up. I guess I didn't have to. So hopefully, Jason, that answered your question. That was rough on me, sorry. Um, uh, I got lost, sorry. Oh, what is the hardest part of this job? I wouldn't say anything's hard. I would say some things are more time consuming than others. Some things are more mundane than others. I think it just depends on what you care about and what you don't care about. Um, I would say the most time restraint and the most difficult to keep is orders in order. You know, organizing all your customers, staying in contact with them, continuously doing that stuff. But that's what I enjoy, so it's not hard for me. I don't like mundane. So feeding and watering is hideous for me because it's just the same thing 2, 3 times a day, and it's just, I hate it. But they do have to survive, so it's a necessity. So thanks for all the info you give out. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Not a problem. What percent of your customers are repeat customers, and how many are first time or one-off clients? That is a great question, and I actually have that answer. For the year, no, hold on. You know what? I'm just going to look it up instead of... hold, please. It's loading. I love that. 51% is repeat customers. So that is absolutely wonderful. That is exactly where I want to be. That's exactly where I want to be. 51% is repeat customers, 49% is new customers. So that's wonderful. That's great news. That's, in my opinion, that's exactly where you want to be at. Because if your repeat business is 50%, then ideally you're growing every year, right? Because that means you've got 49% of new customers that hopefully will become, you know, well, statistically, 50% of those people are going to be repeat customers. And then I still have my regular 50%. And then every year I'm going to gain another 49% of new customers. And so blah, blah, blah. So that's very exciting to me. Sorry, guys. All right. So if there's no other questions, I got one thing left, so I'll say what I say, and if there's no other questions, then I'll get off. Are you using a stacking cage setup in the new barn? Yes. I noticed previous video you had a single tier cage with wheels. Single tier cage with wheels. That is our brooders. Our brooders are on wheels because how awesome is that, right? I can just wheel it outside and pressure wash the crap out of it. But yeah, all of our cages will be similar to what our other videos are. We're gonna make improvements and modifications, but they'll be similar. Sorry, guys. All right, so if there's no other questions, I'm gonna say something and then I'll go. So if there is questions, please ask now or forever hold your peace until next week. By the way, before I finish, I really hope that you guys are enjoying this. I hope you guys are learning something because I can tell you, I'd rather spend a whole lot of money on something than time. Time you can't get back. Time you can't make. You know, but if I'm helping, then I want to. So I'm not, that was not a guilt trip at all. It sounded like a guilt trip. Wasn't, it was not supposed to be a guilt trip. Didn't mean it that way. If I'm just helping one of you guys, that's good enough for me. I just want to do it. I feel like we've had success and we've had failures, and I want to give back. Like, that's just, it makes me feel good, right? So, yeah. Did not mean that way. Anyways, so, thank you. And again, I wasn't looking for, with all of that, I really meant, yeah, I hope that you guys are getting something. Anywho, thank you for all that. So I'm going to leave you with this, and this is my selling technique. And I hope this helps. The best boss I ever had really believed in me. And I started at the low end of the totem pole, and I was making minimum wage, and I felt really, really bad. And he took me to the side and he said, you know, I hired you because, you know, I see something in you. And I thought that was super cool. 3 months in, I became an assistant manager. 3 months after that, I became a store manager. 4 months after that, I became the highest grossing store manager in Ohio, as far as sales go. Um, Increased to LY. And then I got promoted to the largest store in Ohio. And then I got promoted to district manager. This was all within a year and a half. And he was with me the entire time. I mean, he was an amazing mentor. They offered me a very, very awesome job in San Diego, all expenses paid, tons of money, and we had just moved to the farm. And Jenna said, "This is my dream." And I said, "But San Diego's my dream." And she said, "Well, we can talk about it." And in that moment, I thought, you know what? It's not my dream. My dream is sitting right in front of me. So, but it was a great job, and I really liked it, and I did move on. But he was a lot of help. All that being said, he taught me, and I really hope you get something out of this, because this is really everything that I do as far as sales, marketing, advertising. Everything I do is based off of this concept. That's great. Good job. And it's called RAMQ. Has anyone heard of the selling technique, leadership technique, motivation technique called RAMQ? RAMQ. Anybody? While I'm waiting for anyone to say, 80% on shipped eggs is phenomenal. I will add that to our list. I think we're at 65% for the year now. So we went up dramatically once it's cooled off a little, so that's great. No one's telling me if they've heard of RAMQ. So RAMQ is an acronym. RAMQ stands for, it's RAMQ, recognition, advancement, money, and quality of life. Now, with that being said, the way he was teaching this to me at first was, well, I'm going to put you in leadership. And he never called it management. He always called it leadership. Awesome guy. Anyways, but I want you to learn this model, this RAMQ, because you need to know your employees and you need to know what motivates them. Does recognition motivate them? Does the A motivate them, which is advancement? Does the M motivate them, which is money? Or does the Q motivate them, which is quality of life? You need to find out which one motivates them, and then you need to work that into your leadership style. So if you have two top employees, and one is motivated by quality of life and the other one is money, if you both give them a $500 bonus, it's not going to be the same. If you give the other person, the quality of life person, the weekend off, and the other person a $300 bonus, well, then you just motivated both of them. But you have to treat individuals differently. Now, I said all that to say this. I treat RAMQ in every aspect of life. So when I started to market to people, when I started to build a client base, it was off that RAMQ. I wanted to know what made them want to buy, what made them interested. Now, I don't know if you can use recognition, advancement, money, quality of life, but you can, like I've told you before, you can do, hey, let's do a fun survey, and just do a survey. People like to share their opinions. Let's do a fun survey. What's your favorite color? And let's say out of 100 people, 60 of them say the silvers. 60 of them say SSCs. Well, then by now, okay, well, the next color that I have to work on, that I have to increase my production on, is SSCs. Let's say the lowest one, no one picked German pastels, which no one would do that. That's one of my most popular. But no one picks German pastels. But 60 out of the 100 pick SSCs. Well, are you going to work on SSCs or are you going to work on German pastels? And here's my question. If you don't get feedback, you don't have a plan. You're just throwing darts in the dark, and you have no idea if you're hitting the board or not. You've got to get that feedback. So I use that in every aspect, and I modify it on what I'm doing. So if I'm selling, I'm saying I need to know why, I need to know how, I need to know when, so I can tell you the largest season of the year to sell quail. I can tell you that right now is the most important time to buy your eggs, because January, February, March is when you're going to make a lot of your money, right? So like Black Friday came to be because the retail stores go from the red, which is negative, to the black in all their revenue and all their sales and all their profit, right? Well, January, February, March, you go in the black. And if you do really well for January, February, March, you will be in the black all year long, no matter what, right? It's easy to sell in January, February, March. It's hard to sell in November, December, right? Because people are getting ready to go on vacation, and they've got holidays, and they've got family coming in, and this, that, and the other. Not that it's not doable, but here's my point. You need to make sure that you're getting feedback from your customers. And the reason I said that right now is the most important time to buy, if you're a breeder, if you're trying to sell, is because you need to be prepared for when January hits. And right now, if you hatch out, let's just say it's September 1st. You order, let's say you hatch them out and you get them and hatch them out by October 1st. You need to wait 8 weeks, right? Which is 2 months. So December 1st, they're starting to lay. So if you have any setbacks, you're going into December like stressing. If they're laying consistently, you know what you want to do, you have a plan of attack on December 1st, well, you've got a month to get ready. You've got a month to know what you've got, how much you can sell, and everything like that. So you need to know those things, but more importantly than knowing that, because that comes with experience, you need to know your customers. So if you can take anything away from this, you need to make sure that you get feedback. That doesn't mean that you can't call or text me or ask questions on here about what you should do or what you can do or advice. I'm happy to help you. But a single customer is going to help you more than I can, right? So if there's no other questions, I will stop talking. I am sure you guys are tired of me talking. But I do appreciate everyone that watched. I appreciate your feedback. I appreciate you. So tomorrow we will come out with another topic, which I have not even thought about. And so I need to come up with that, and we'll see you again. So if you haven't joined the Quail and Supply Auction Group, I will be doing auctions all week. They've had a lot of fun. It's on Facebook. It's called Quail and Supply Auction Group. Join. It's a lot of fun. Make sure you join the Newbie Quail Lovers Facebook group. There's amazing people on there. And make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I left this for last because the people that are left are truly interested. We have decided that we are going to share how to build a conveyor. Now, there is a string attached, okay? And I'm going to mention this in another video, but I wanted to share it with you guys first because you're the ones that, have put up with my mouth for over an hour, right? So here's the deal. Remember at the very beginning, I said your number one goal in a business is profit, and profit is not a negative word. Profit is not a 4-letter word. Profit needs to be your whole goal in business, right? Because if you're not making a profit, then you're not going to be doing it. And if you are doing it and not making a profit, you won't be doing it long. So we've decided that when we hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, we will do a YouTube conveyor video with Papa. We will do a full video, and then we will do a Q&A on it after the video is posted. So you can watch it, you can write down your questions, and then you can get your questions answered. So I don't know how long that'll take us, but if you like and subscribe, if you share our videos, if you get people involved, the sooner we get to that 10,000 mark, the sooner we'll do the video. So we usually don't do strings attached, but with this one's a really big deal. We didn't know if we should ever do it, but that's what we came up with. And I like the idea. I mean, it was my idea. But Papa really likes the idea too. So that's the plan. So that'll be coming out. We'll be mentioning that again. So thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. And yes, there are strings, Justin. So we will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching, guys.